Hello and welcome to week 2 unit 1 of our openSAP course SAP Cloud Application Studio for SAP Business by Design. I am Guru Prasad Dorai, your instructor for this unit. I hope you did well on your weekly assignment for week 1. In this unit of internal communication, we will see how two business objects residing in two different deployment units can communicate with each other. In the previous week, we saw that you cannot directly change data of a business object residing in a different deployment unit, but you can read the data of that business object residing in a different deployment unit through a query or a retrieve or through cross deployment unit association. To change the data of a business object residing in a different deployment unit, we can make use of internal communication. So now let's see what an internal communication is. Internal communication is a type of service integration. It is used to exchange data between business objects via asynchronous XML messages. The framework sends a message when a source business object is changed or deleted. When an internal communication is defined, process integration definition .pyd file is created in the solution. The illustration shows two business objects residing in two different deployment units interact via asynchronous XML message. Let's now talk about trigger conditions. The condition evaluations can be used to determine when a message has to be triggered from source business object to target business object. If you implement the evaluation logic for a condition, the system returns a Boolean value to express if the result is true or false. For example, you can trigger the message based on the status of a source business object. Below are the evaluation conditions: relevance condition, start condition, change condition and cancel condition. Now, I will get into the detail of each of these conditions. Relevance conditions. As the name suggests, framework first checks if the source business object instance is relevant for service integration. If the result is true, the message is sent to the business object and system evaluates the start condition. If the result is false, the message is not sent and the service integration is not started. Start condition. This condition starts the service integration process if the business object instance was not yet involved in the service integration process or if the process was cancelled. If the result is true, the framework starts the service integration process, that is, it compiles and sends the message to the business object. The change condition. The framework evaluates this condition if already service integration process for the business object instance has been started. If the result is true, which means business object instance has been changed, the framework sends a change message. If the result of the change condition is false, framework then evaluates the cancel condition. Cancel condition. The framework evaluates the cancel condition if the result of the change condition is false. This slide explains about how to implement the evaluation logic. When a condition is created, the framework generates a script file and the implementation of the evaluation logic can be done in the script file using the scripting language. Below are the methods available for the service integration script files. Return statement. This statement is mandatory for each condition and it returns the result of the evaluation, which will be Boolean and values will be true or false. Get process context method. This is called for business object nodes to check the status. In reconciliation parameter specifies if the service integration is in reconciliation mode. Let us get into the SAP Cloud Application Studio and see how to create an internal communication. So, here I am once again in the SAP Cloud Application Studio. I have my solution opened. So, let us go ahead and create an internal communication. As part of the demo, I am going to show a communication between the two custom business objects which we have created here, the job profile and the job listing. So, I do a right click on the job profile view and select create service integration. Yeah. So, there you go, we have these options. We would discuss about the other two in the coming units. So, I select internal communication for now and click on next. So, here provide a name. So, I prefer job profile to job listing, and I select the sending business object as the job profile and the receiving business object as job listing, and the receiving business object node is root. So, I click on next. Now, here I need to select the fields for the message structure. So, I select job ID, title, job location, the domain code, employment type code, job end date, yeah, and hiring manager ID and hiring manager name. So, now I need to specify a readable ID. For that, I specify the job ID and I click on next. So, here we see that we have receiving business object and the sending business object. So, we need to ensure that the mapping between these two is done. Either you could go ahead and click on propose mapping, which then the system would take care of doing the mapping, or you could go ahead and click here and do individual mapping. So, for now I would go ahead and say propose mapping. So, the system has done the mapping for me. So, I would just like to cross verify if the mapping is fine. Yeah, so it is good. So, I click on next. I retain this for the instance identification. I keep it as job ID. Here is the review step, and if everything is fine, we could go ahead and click on finish. With this, what happens is a .pid file is created in your solution, and we could use this to communicate data between two different business objects. Yeah. So, here you could see the job profile to job listing .pid being created. I would go ahead and I would specify a trigger condition. So, I want the source business object, that is the job profile, to communicate to the target business object, that is the job listing, only when the status of the job profile changes from draft to published or open to published. So, I click on start condition, I click on add. With this, what happens is an AppSell file is created as part of this PID. You could see that the AppSell file is created. So, let me add the condition now. This dot status is equal to, I am doing a comparison now. So, I need to check if it is published, only then I would like to trigger the communication between the two business objects. So, I have specified my condition. I will save and activate this AppSell file. I also need to activate the PID. So, it is activated successfully. Now, as part of the scripting, what we have done is we have already communicated, or we have created an instance of the job listing on the action publish, which says create the job instance in the job listing BO. Now, since we have maintained a PID, I would like to go ahead and comment this, and I would use the internal communication to create an instance in the job listing BO. So, I select this piece of code and I comment this out and I click on save and activate. Yeah, so it's done. Just verify the condition, it's fine. So, now we could go ahead and test this. I have logged in with the administrator user, and let me go ahead and create a new job profile. JP3, let us say this is a requirement for developer. Posting date is as of June 1st. Work area is development. Employment type is full time. The hiring manager ID is this. And this is for country, let us say United States. This is open till 30th. So, I click on save. So, you could see that the status is in open. The message would not be sent, since we have put a condition that only on publish, or when the status changes to published, we should communicate the instance from the source business object. So, I would go ahead and publish this job, click on save. I see the new instance already existing here. So, now I log off from this user and log into the candidate view. So, here I have the job listing view, I click on the work center view, and there you go. So, you could see that the instance which we just created in the job profile has been successfully communicated to the job listing using the process integration or the internal communication. So, with this I am done with the demo. I would go back to the slides. Let's look at the key takeaways of this unit. We understood why internal communication is required, what are the insights into the various aspects of the evaluation conditions, and then finally, we created internal communication as part of the solution and defined a start condition. Just like the previous units in week 1, exercise for this unit is also available. Please try out and get hands-on experience on internal communication. In the next unit, I will give an overview on web service and how to create custom web service. See you in the next unit. Thank you for your time and have a good day.